Here you are, it's Westerley VR race preview time. Race 2.3, second series, race number 3, and it's the Musette Cafe Loop. And you've just seen in your picture, there was a little inset of a few of us on a club ride at the Musette Cafe, and we set off from just outside the gates, as was pointed out on your screen. So the Musette Cafe is up in a village called Aldbury, which is just outside Tring, which is a small town, mainly I think these days for commuters. It's got a railway station, which we're about to go past. In fact, we're on Station Road heading towards Tring, and you'll see that there's a big station there, and a lot of people around here will live and work in London. So it's quite a nice country area on the edge of the Chilterns, just near the Ashridge Estate, and we're going downhill towards Tring at the moment. So at the start, as you saw, we just sort of kind of went over a little bit of a lump because we started before the cafe gate. So you'll actually start by having to sort of grind up a hill for 20 metres or so before getting this big long descent into Tring, passing the odd bike with trailer. So this is going to be fairly fast, and not until we pass Tring railway station, which will come up sooner than you might think. We're going to do a hard left into Beggars Lane, and that will be fairly flat across the far side of the course, because this is a loop, and remember, this is 3 laps. So everything in this preview is multiplied by 3, and you will have, I think, 3 opportunities to split the pack if you're looking to attack, and it will be really on that finishing line, coming up to the finishing line, because there is a little bit of a ramp up to that finishing line. As I say, we started by having to go a little bit uphill right at the top of it. And so it'll be an uphill finish, but it'll be like that 3 times 3 laps, and I think that's where the attacks will happen. There's only one other little bump, which we'll come to in a minute, which is when we leave Beggars Lane. But first and foremost, we're going over the railway station here at Tring. So that's all the car parking on your left for all the commuters who drive to the station and wind their way into London on the train. So we're now going over the railway bridge. Tring station is somewhat outside the town. I mean, when they built railway lines, they couldn't knock down all the houses in towns, and they wanted the lines to go in a straight line rather than meander around the towns. So quite often railway stations weren't where the town centre was, and the houses sort of get built out because people want to live near a railway station. So you can see we're actually on the outskirts of Tring where the railway station is, but these houses more modern and built for the commuters. We're not going to go into Tring. I would love to tell you all about Tring. It's a really nice town. I don't think it's got a lot of history, although it does have a branch of the Natural History Museum, because I think one of the Rothschild family had a massive collection of butterflies or something, and then donated the building and the collection to the Natural History Museum. So there is a Natural History Museum, and it's part of the main one in London. Meanwhile, we're in Beggars Lane, so this is fairly straight. There's a little bit of a sort of kind of rise, but you won't really notice that on RGT, I don't think. So you can ignore this and just treat this stretch as a flattish stretch. When we get to the end of Beggars Lane, we're going to turn left, and then we'll be on New Ground Road, which takes us back up to Aldbury, and you'll see Aldbury, which is the village the Musette Cafe is in. You'll see that properly. And then as we leave the village centre, we just go up that little ramp up to the finishing line there. So as I say, Beggars Lane here, fairly flat. I mean, it's got very slight undulations, but I don't think they're going to affect the race at all. It's when we do the left turn is the smallest climb, or the smaller of the 2 climbs of the day, just getting us up a little bit, and then the final bit up to the finishing line, where I think it might be more decisive. As you can see, quite rural out here, out in the Tring station area. Aldbury is a pretty little village, as you'll see when we get there. Ideal for film sets and chocolate box covers, I should think. As I say, we're just off the Chilterns on a sort of flat section, but make no mistake, there's some very steep climbs out of Tring, particularly up to Wigginton and places like that. So this is good climbing area, and right out of Aldbury, we're not going to go up it, but there's a hill there called Tom's Hill. There's another one called Stocks Hill. Both great climbs. So this is, despite the landscape you're looking at, this is great hill climbing territory. As I say, not evident from the pictures, but believe me. And of course, your reward for doing all those climbs will be a nice cup of coffee and some cake at the Musette Cafe. Right now, this is being filmed during the COVID lockdown, so the cafe is mainly serving outside, so we're not going to actually go in it. But at the end, I will venture off the finishing line and just go into the cafe so you can see where it's located. And if you're up this way, this is the cycling cafe to visit. So just to the building, that's the end of Beggars Lane, and we're going to do the hard left. I'm not going to take it too fast because traffic does come down this road. But as I say, this is the hard left, and it will be something, you can see the gradients going the opposite way, so immediately you think you're going down, but pretty shortly it will be going up again. And as I say, this is what I would call the climb number 2 of the day, if it is a climb. It's not going to be that hard, but again, you know, by lap 3 when legs are tiring, you know, this can be the difference. But as I say, it's that main climb back up to the finishing line is going to be the one that I think is decisive. 3 times it's got to be done. But as I say, it's short, it's sharp, but it could be decisive. So here we are. So this is a slight climb. It's not that notable, but you can see it's going up a little bit. We'll have to see on the day who's got the legs for it and who hasn't. But I certainly think by lap 3, if you want to put in a spurt here, you could drop a few people off the back of a group. But as I say, it depends who's in your group, of course, and of course they might do that to you. So here we go, so back over the railway line. This is the same railway line that we crossed by Tring Station, but we're a few hundred metres closer to London, of course. And here we go, hurtling towards Aldbury. Now, as I say, when you get to Aldbury, it's a rather picturesque village, although surprisingly, the wonderful pub they've got there, the 17th century Valiant Trooper, is actually not in the most picturesque part of it, by the village green. And then up that slope to the Musette Cafe. Now, the Musette Cafe is a cycling cafe. It's got some wonderful pictures and memorabilia all around it, and some books to read while you're eating your coffee. And you know, it is devoted to cycling. And they run some wonderful cycling evenings there with speakers. We've had Phil Liggett down there, Ned Bolting, and a few others. It's absolutely wonderful. Graham Obery was a memorable one as well. Came all the way down from Scotland to speak at the Musette Cafe. Sellouts, every one of them, of course, and great evenings too. So chapeau to the 2 Simons who run it and set it up. I believe long before my time in cycling, there was previously a cafe that was popular with cyclists in Aldbury, and I think this signifies what I was saying earlier, that you can see the hill climbs, and you can see on the left of the picture there, you can see the hill going up there. That's Tom's Hill, which is probably one of the more challenging ones. It's got a nice little hairpin at the top, and certainly a popular place to cycle. But behind us, if we go in the other direction this road, you go up to Wigington, and there's 3 or 4 climbs, including the beautifully named The Twist. And that's not some nickname for the climb, that's the actual name of the road, The Twist. So we've got a few weird ones around here. The Crong is another one that comes out of Tring. As I say, there's some great little climbs around here, despite what the scenery looks like. But of course, I didn't pick these roads because I wanted long hill climbs in the races. These are fast and furious 10k races, so you know, little inclines, smaller lumps. Now we're getting very close to Aldbury now. So we're on New Ground Road. It's as I say, going alongside the escarpment. You can see to the right where Tom's Hill is and the Ashridge Estate, and at the top there there's a big memorial called the Bridgewater Memorial, and a bit further along Ivinghoe Beacon, Ashridge House, and some other stunning places to visit. But never mind that, Aldbury's nice enough to visit in itself. We're just coming into the village now. You see a few buildings start to appear. Now there's a little twisty bit here, so just watch for this as you come into Aldbury. So we're going to do a sharp left here, and almost immediately there's a sharp right by the Valiant Trooper. Now this is the 17th century pub that I was telling you about, as we go sharp right any second now. Perhaps I'm not riding fast enough for any second. But here we go. This is the pub on the corner. You can see a few old oak beam things. So that's the Valiant Trooper on our right. You get round that one, and then there's another sharp left at the end of this, when we hit the village green. Look out as we get to the village green. It's very picturesque, but you'll see just in front of us on the village green, you'll see a set of stocks and some other punishment utensils for the days when locals were punished by being put in stocks and all sorts of other nasty treatments that we wouldn't dream of doing in the modern age, of course. So here we are, just coming up to the village green now, and here we are. You see we're going to do a sharp left, and the stock's just there immediately in front of us, just behind that cyclist. Now here is the ramp. So after this left, now you've got the ramp up to the finishing line, and we're going up towards the Musette Cafe. And you can see, well, because I've slowed down, I haven't quite got the momentum of the guy in front of me there. You can see his momentum's taking him up this first little bit quite easily. As we get around the bend, it steepens up a little bit. But as I say, it's not. I never put in ridiculous gradients into these races. It's quite manageable, but it is noticeable when you're racing when you go up one of these. You can see it's steepening up a bit here just as we go around this bend, and then we're going to land right in front of the gates. Now, during the laps, you'll carry on here, so you've got to take the rest of the climb, the bit we did right at the beginning. But we're going to turn right into the Musette Cafe. And when we do finish, as here we are, here's the gate. Stay with me for about another 45 seconds, because although that's the end of the racing circuit, we're going to go into the Musette Cafe. You press the little white button there, and guess what happens? The gates open automatically. You wouldn't even think there was a cycling cafe here, would you? This was quite early in the morning, and I got here just before the rush. And I think I got here and I got myself a coffee and just sat down and drank it. And 10 minutes later, the place was absolutely packed with cyclists as they all came in from their rides. So I timed this perfectly, getting here just before the rush. As you can see, there's lots of old sort of farm buildings that have been converted into commercial use properties for various reasons. And you just wind your way around these. And you turn left opposite this white building. And hey presto, you start seeing some cycles and some cyclists, and a group of them down the end there in their high-vis jackets. So we're just going to rest up here next to the little patio where we're going to have our coffee. And that is the Musette Cafe. Have fun.